All right, so lately everyone's been buzzing about this Manus AI, right? People are calling it a GPT moment, but is it really that big of a deal?
Hmm.
That's what we're here to figure out. We're going deep on this one, looking at articles and tech reports and even some whispers from developers who've actually gotten a sneak peek.
Ooh, insider info.
Exactly. We want to give you the full picture, so we've got the official announcements, obviously the news coming out of China where this thing was developed, and even some more skeptical takes to make sure we're not just drinking the Kool-Aid, you know?
Yeah, gotta stay balanced.
For sure. And let me tell you one thing is clear from everything we've been reading. Manus is not just another chatbot.
It really seems like something different, right? But that's what's fascinating to me. The idea that Manus is being called the first fully autonomous AI agent. What does that even mean?
Right? Like, what does that even mean?
Well, it's designed to actually do things in the digital world, not just, answer your questions or write you a poem or something.
Okay, so it's not passive like
Hmm.
the AI we're used to.
Exactly. It's a huge shift from AI that just thinks to AI that can act. You see, most AI we interact with today is pretty passive. You ask a question, it gives an answer.
Yeah, that's pretty much my experience.
Right. But Manus takes that information and actually uses it to complete tasks.
Hmm.
I was reading one article that had this great analogy. They said Manus is like having digital mind and hands working for you.
Okay, so it's not just giving me advice like you should do this or you should do that. It's actually carrying out tasks based on what I ask it to do.
You got it's supposed to be like
Yeah.
a general purpose AI worker. So think less Siri, more like a superpowered digital intern who's always learning and getting better at what it does.
Whoa, hold on. A digital intern. That's a pretty powerful image. I'm definitely intrigued, but how does it all actually work?
Yeah, the tech behind it is pretty complex, but let's see if we can break it down. So at its core, you have this powerful large language model like a lot of these new AI systems. But what's interesting here is the way Manus uses multiple AI models working together.
Like a team.
Yeah. Kind of like a team of specialists, each with their own area of expertise. The creators call it a multi-signature approach.
Multi-signature.
Yeah, think of it like this. You wouldn't want a single doctor making a major medical decision, right?
No, I'd want like a whole team of experts.
Exactly. You'd want a team of specialists to weigh in. And it's the same idea here with Manus.
Okay, so you've got these AI specialists all working together, but how does that actually translate into getting things done?
That's where the hands part of the analogy comes in.
Yeah.
Manus has this incredible ability to break down complex tasks into smaller steps, almost like it's writing itself a to-do list.
Mm.
And then it goes and executes each step on its own without needing you to constantly check in or give instructions.
Wow. So it's really autonomous.
It is. It's pushing the boundaries of what we thought AI could do.
That's pretty mind-blowing. Can you give me a real-world example? Like, how would this actually play out if I was using Manus?
Okay, let's say you need to put together a PowerPoint presentation for work. You could tell Manus the topic, the main points you want to hit, maybe even the style you're going for.
And it would just make the whole presentation for me.
Yeah, that's the idea. They showed a demo where Manus researched a topic, designed all the slides, even added in visuals, and the person didn't have to do anything.
Whoa, that's amazing. I mean, that would save so much time.
Right. And it's not just PowerPoint. They've shown Manus doing all sorts of things, like analyzing stock market data, creating basic websites, even writing and executing Python code to automate tasks.
So it can code too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild. And get this, you can actually watch it work. They built the split-screen dashboard where you see Manus navigating a virtual environment like opening files, running programs. It's really cool.
Okay, I need to see a video of this. So it sounds like it's not just following pre-programmed rules, it's actually learning and adapting as it goes, right?
That's a big part of what makes Manus so different from past AI. It's not just following a script. It uses its AI to figure things out, learn from its experiences, and adapt to new situations. It's designed to be really flexible.
This is really making me rethink what AI is capable of.
Me too. And we're just scratching the surface here.
I can't wait to dive deeper.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've got this AI that can like think and act and even learn on the job. It's kind of freaky when you think about it.
Yeah, it's like something out of science fiction.
Totally. But let's bring it back down to earth for a sec. What does all this actually mean for us, in the real world? Like, how does it actually affect people?
That's the big question, right? Well, think about all the time we spend on those boring, repetitive tasks. Manus could automate so much of that stuff.
You're saying I could finally escape the spreadsheet mines.
Maybe it could free us up to focus on more creative and meaningful work.
Okay, less spreadsheets, more brainstorming. I like the sound of that.
Right. And it's not just about individual productivity. Manus could help level the playing field for small businesses too, giving them access to those powerful AI tools that only big companies could afford before.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. One of the articles we read talked about how Manus could be used in human resources, which is interesting.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Imagine like Manus going through tons of resumes and picking out the best candidates based on whatever criteria you give it.
Right. You could streamline the whole hiring process, make it more efficient and maybe even more objective.
Though you'd have to make sure the AI itself wasn't biased, right? Like if you feed it bad data, it's just going to spit out bad results.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The data you use to train an AI is crucial.
Mm.
But if it's done right, Manny's could actually help us make hiring more fair.
Interesting. Okay, so lots of potential benefits for businesses. But what about for everyday life? Can Manus help out regular people too?
That's where things get really exciting. Remember that travel planning example we talked about?
Yeah.
Manus could basically be your ultimate personal assistant, booking flights, hotels, making a whole itinerary based on what you like.
Wait, so I could literally just be like, Manus, plan me a trip to Italy. I want to see art, eat pasta, and avoid crowds, and it would just do it.
That's the idea. And it goes beyond just travel. Think about managing finances, doing research scheduling appointments, even just keeping track of all those little to-dos that clutter up your brain.
Wow, it's like having a digital brain and a pair of digital hands to take care of all the boring stuff. Sign me up. But hold on a second. All this autonomy and power, it's got to come with some big questions too, right?
Definitely. We need to be realistic about where Manus is right now. We've seen some pretty cool demos, but it's still early days.
Yeah, the demos are impressive, but it's important to remember those are controlled environments. We need to see how it performs in the real world with all its messy complexities.
Right, exactly. And even if it lives up to all the hype, there are bigger implications to consider. We're talking about an AI that can interact with the real world, which means there's potential for things to go wrong.
Like, what if Manus gets access to my bank account or my social media? Security has got to be a top priority.
Absolutely. We need to make sure it can't be hacked or used for bad stuff. But there are also big societal questions to think about. What if Manus starts automating tons of jobs? What happens to all those workers?
Right, that's a huge concern. With great power comes great responsibility. We need to have some serious conversations about how to manage this transition to an AI-powered world and make sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few.
I totally agree. It's not just about the tech itself. It's about how we choose to use it.
Yeah.
We need to be proactive in shaping this future, not just reacting to it as it unfolds.
So Manus is like a glimpse into the future, but it's also a bit of a wake-up call. We need to start thinking now about the kind of world we want to create with AI.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But before we get too lost in the big picture, I want to go back to something we touched on earlier, the fact that Manus is a closed system right now.
Yeah, that's been bugging me too. It's cool they're building this amazing AI, but if we don't understand how it works, how can we trust it?
Right. It's like trusting a chef who won't let you see into their kitchen. You might love the food, but you're always going to wonder what's going on behind the scenes.
That's a great analogy. We need to see the ingredients, the recipe, so to speak, to know if we can trust the final product.
Exactly. Transparency is super important, especially when we're talking about AI systems that can make decisions that affect our lives.
So what's the solution? Should all AI be open source?
That's a tough one. There are pros and cons to both sides. Open sourcing could speed up innovation and make things more transparent, but it could also make it easier for people to misuse the technology.
It's a tricky balance.
For sure. So yeah, the closed system is a concern, but it's not necessarily a deal breaker. What about the competition, though? We know the big companies like OpenAI and Google are also working on these autonomous agents. Can Manus really compete with those giants?
Yeah, it's like David versus Goliath. Can this little startup really hold its own against the titans of the tech world?
Well, Manus has a head start, and their early results are impressive, but those big companies have a ton of resources and really smart people.
So Manus is like the nimble little guy while the big companies are these lumbering giants trying to do everything. I guess that gives Manus a bit of an edge.
And don't forget the power of community. Manus is building an ecosystem of developers around their platform, encouraging collaboration and innovation.
That's smart. If they can build a strong community, they might have a fighting chance. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, the AI landscape is changing so fast. What looks like a sure bet today could be gone tomorrow. It's going to be a wild ride.
Okay, folks, buckle up. The AI revolution is just getting started. But before we get too carried away with all the possibilities, I want to bring things back to you, the listener.
Yeah, let's do that. We've covered a lot of ground today. But what does all this mean for you? Should you be excited, Worried or somewhere in between?
I think for me, it's a mix of both. Like, I'm excited about the potential, but also a little bit cautious, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
On the one hand, the benefits could be huge, right? Imagine having an AI that just takes care of all those boring tasks that we all hate doing.
Yeah, all that tedious stuff.
Exactly. It would free up so much time and energy to focus on things we actually enjoy.
It'd be like having a personal assistant working 24/7 who never gets tired or complains.
Yeah, or asks for a raise.
Right. Think of all the time we could save, all the stress we could eliminate.
Yeah.
We could finally have time for those hobbies we've been putting off, spend more time with family, or even just take a nap.
Okay, now you're talking my language. But I'm curious, what makes you hesitate? What are the potential downsides that worry you?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the question of control. You know,
Hmm.
as we start delegating more and more to AI, we have to be careful not to become too reliant on it.
Yeah, we don't want to become totally dependent on these machines.
Exactly. We need to make sure we're still the ones in charge. It's like we're the drivers and AI is the car. We don't want the car to start driving itself.
Right, we don't want to create a system that ends up controlling us.
That's the key. So it's not just about building smart AI. It's about building AI that we understand and can control. It's about building AI that we can trust.
So how do we do that?
Well, I think it requires a shift in how we think about AI. We need to move beyond this idea of AI as a replacement for humans and start thinking about it as a collaborator, a partner in problem solving.
Okay, so like AI is the Robin to our Batman.
Exactly. A really, really smart Robin who can write code and analyze data and plan vacations better than we ever could.
Hmm.
But it's still a partnership. We need people to communicate with it, guide it, educate it even.
That makes sense. But does that mean we all need to become like AI experts to survive in this new world? That seems kind of daunting.
No, no, not at all. I don't think everyone needs to be a programmer or a data scientist, but it is important for everyone to have a basic understanding of how AI works, its potential benefits and risks. We need to be informed citizens,
Hmm.
you know, so we can participate in these important conversations about the role of AI in society.
So we don't need to go back to school, but we do need to stay informed and engaged.
Exactly. It's about being curious, staying up to date, and not being afraid to ask questions.
Okay, so no PhD required, but a healthy dose of curiosity is a must. What else can we do to prepare for this AI-powered future?
Well, first and foremost, stay curious. Read articles, listen to podcasts like this one, talk to people who are working in the field.
Hmm.
The more you learn, the better prepared you'll be,
So knowledge is power, as they say.
for sure. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge assumptions, demand transparency, and hold these developers accountable. Remember, we, the users, have a voice in shaping the future of AI.
It's not just about accepting whatever technology comes along, it's about actively shaping it to align with our values.
That's the key. And finally, don't lose sight of the human element in all of this. AI can be an amazing tool, but it's not a replacement for human connection. Creativity, compassion, all those things that make us human.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype and forget that technology is supposed to serve us, not the other way around.
Right. AI should be a tool that helps us live better, more fulfilling lives, not something that isolates us or diminishes our humanity.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Manus AI, what's the one thing you want listeners to take away from this conversation?
I think the key takeaway is this. The future of AI is not set in stone. It's a story that we're all writing together right now. So let's make it a good one. Let's make it a story that's both innovative and responsible, a story that empowers us to create a better world for ourselves and for future generations.
That's a great note to end on. And that's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you found this exploration of Manus AI insightful and thought-provoking. Remember, the conversation doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shaping the future of AI. Thanks for listening.